gentlemen, NXT Takeover has done it once again. A fantastic show.
By done it, you mean killed it, right?
Yeah, killed it dead. Killed it dead in the best way possible.
Motherfucking dead.
Because
killed it dead, brought it back to life with special resurrection powers, and killed it again.
Because they could. NXT Takeover Brooklyn 2, kicking off SummerSlam weekend. I feel bad for SummerSlam.
Yeah,
SummerSlam's getting ready to start as we're recording this. So
unfortunately, longer pay-per-view doesn't mean better pay-per-view.
No. I have a feeling that these 6 matches are probably going to be better than most of the 13 matches that we're going to get tonight at SummerSlam.
That's going to be a long review video.
It's going to be long.
But for real, I mean, immediately when the show goes on the air, you have the big fight atmosphere, because you notice that in the front row of the crowd, you have multiple competitors from the Cruiserweight Classic, Finn Balor, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte, all...
And Ric Flair.
Yeah, all in the front row of the crowd. So, talk about just amping it up a little bit, showing that, oh, look at all of these other top caliber wrestlers who are just ready to be entertained by this show specifically.
Yeah. And the tensions of all these matches were just built so well, except for maybe the Billie Kay versus Ember Moon, just because that was something that was just kind of like thrown together last week. But we've been wondering when Ember Moon was going to debut, and we've been wanting to see Billie Kay really evolve into the heel she wants to be. So let's go and kick it off. We had Austin Aries, the greatest man who ever lived, taking on No Way Jose in the very first match. No Way Jose leading a conga line for his entrance, which was awesome.
That was entertaining. I've been part of a conga line or two.
And you know what? This was the crowd was very split. There was a really good reaction for No Way Jose and his party entrance, and then it was just the respectful response for Austin Aries when he came out. And then these two just had a really good fight.
Yeah, and what I appreciate about the NXT crowds when they're there, and I don't necessarily consider Brooklyn per se to be an NXT crowd, because
it sure seemed like
90% of the time they're at Full Sail University. Yeah. They don't do tons of tapings outside of Florida.
Yeah.
So, but like on the NXT shows in particular, you just get a lot more, I think, appreciation out of the fans for the competitors themselves, rather than let's always cheer the good guy, boo the bad guy kind of thing. Like, if you watch a normal Monday Night Raw and you have Dean Ambrose versus a Seth Rollins, and it's, oh, Dean Ambrose is a good guy, everybody cheers, Seth Rollins is a bad guy, everybody boos. NXT, you get like Austin Aries and No Way Jose. No Way Jose is obviously the good guy. Austin Aries is obviously the bad guy. But both guys get cheered because the crowd knows, like, oh, these two guys are about to bust their asses and try and put on the match of the night.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like anyone really lacks in NXT. Everyone is willing and able to put forward their best performance. Yeah. And when you've got a guy like Austin Aries, you know you're going to get a good performance. And this was a great match for No Way Jose, because he's been building this, hey, I'm a fun-loving guy, but if you piss me off, I can kick your ass. And he did a really good job of that against Austin Aries. And like I said, No Way Jose is significantly bigger than Austin Aries.
A lot of people are.
A lot of people are, because Austin Aries is a very small man. But he didn't let that deter him from really just drilling in a lot of those stiff shots to Jose, and then Jose was able to use the power to kind of get the advantage back in his court a couple of times, and it was a fun struggle to watch happen, and Jose, maybe got a little too confident when going against someone like Austin Aries, because Austin Aries can turn whatever move he wants into whatever else he wants.
Yeah.
And we'd already had
probably do a little ballerina kick in the middle of it.
Yes, because Austin Aries. And he had already done the front chancery, or the last chancery earlier in the match, which was impressive. Jose able to power through while Austin Aries is able to keep the hold in.
Yeah, that's just one of the, beating on the same factor you were talking about, that No Way Jose being so much bigger than Austin Aries, made it so maybe the submission hold not quite as effective without really breaking No Way Jose down first.
Yeah. And so at the end, when Jose's trying to go for a superplex and Austin Aries is able to block it, hits the sunset flip powerbomb right into the last chancery again. No Way Jose had no other choice but to tap out. Austin Aries picks up a win at TakeOver.
Yeah, big win for Aries. First real big win for Aries since beating Baron Corbin in his debut match.
Yeah, been a while.
Yeah.
So then, as if beating No Way Jose wasn't enough, he decides he wants to add a little insult to injury. So Austin Aries keeps the beatdown going. Just trying to be an asshole like Austin Aries is able to do. Cue the music of one Hideo Itami. Hideo Itami makes his way down. They start having a little face-off. Austin Aries is like, "Oh, you have a problem with me? You want to get in here?" And then Austin Aries realized he stepped into a place he didn't expect, and then Hideo starts lighting him up with strikes.
Yeah.
And, does his little slap combo, a couple of big back kicks, and then the crowd starts chanting for it. And we got something we haven't seen since we went to WrestleMania last year. Hideo Itami drops Austin Aries with the GTS.
And the crowd loses their shit.
It was fucking awesome.
I'm gonna be real, I'm pretty sure I know where this is going.
Yeah?
I'm pretty sure that Hideo will probably reveal that it was Austin Aries that attacked him.
I thought the same thing briefly, but I was like, Austin Aries wasn't, even a thought in NXT at the time, though.
Yeah, potentially, but I still think they're going to try and work it in.
Alright,
I
won't be upset.
It could be to the point where...
Maybe Austin Aries is like, well, I was working in another company in Florida. I decided I wanted to attack Hideo.
Just something where maybe Austin Aries looked at Hideo Itami as one of the bigger threats to him coming into NXT.
Oh.
So maybe nip it in the bud so he would be able to get his foot in the door and have a run before Hideo would be able to retaliate.
Alright.
Yeah, I just think that's kind of where it's going, because there would be no reason for Hideo to just kind of come out in full suit.
Maybe Hideo and No Way Jose are really good friends.
It's possible, and I'm pretty sure, Aries and Hideo had a feud in Ring of Honor, I think.
Oh. Alright, capitalizing on the previous chemistry. Let's move on. We had our first debut. We had our first debut of the night as Billie Kay took on the debuting Ember Moon. I love Billie Kay's swagger. I was
a little thrown off by the new theme song.
I was a little bit. I think it was just kind of a revamped version of what she's been using. It still works. I think you were thrown off because you know the original song she was using, correct? Yeah. So for me, it was just kind of music. I didn't have any real attachment to it. Now it's got something that really speaks her. And the promo she did before, where she was just so adamant about, I've been on SmackDown and that makes me the best, and I'm gonna show Ember Moon that you have to live up to Billie Kay, and I'm gonna be the next. And I believe her. I believe that she's so ready to be a top heel in NXT. And then the debut of Ember Moon, the entrance was cool. She's all fired up. I love the blood red contacts she's got. It was weird. I was expecting more of the way the entrance started with the lights and her kind of like kind of stalking out. I kind of assumed that was going to be kind of the whole thing, but then she just got real amped up and all kinds of energy, which was cool because it was like, oh, this isn't like some special like this person's from this strange plane or something like that. It was just another person, getting ready to go in the ring and kick some ass, and that's what she did. I appreciated this match for what it was. It wasn't very long, and it didn't have to be. Billie Kay did exactly what she needed to do to mark herself as a true heel. She was able to show more of what she's capable of in a longer match, but it wasn't a super long match, but it's longer than what she normally gets on NXT. It was a more high profile match, and she proved that she deserves to be in that spot. Ember Moon was just so exciting to watch. She hit all of her stuff so flush. She's very on point, and it's I didn't get a chance to see Athena wrestle much. I've seen a couple matches, but not enough for me to really know what she's capable of. So it was nice to see her, on this big stage, getting her shot, and she impressed the hell out of me.
Yeah, she's good. I was a little bit surprised it took them this long to repackage her.
Yeah, she's gone through a couple different names.
Because, and just a lot of the times when they bring in somebody who seems like they're going to be potential top star power, at least the last few people, they've completely skipped the repackaging stage and just have gone straight to let's debut them as fast as we can. Talking about Austin Aries, Bobby Roode, Shinsuke Nakamura, not having to change their names, not having to change their gimmicks. And in this case, it was just bringing in one of the people who I would consider is one of the top 20 female talents in the country that wasn't signed by WWE, and keeping her in the the Performance Center farm for so long.
I think the biggest reason is when she got signed, it was just after we had Sasha, Charlotte, and Becky all go to the main roster, and then there was still a group of women that were the top tier in NXT. Plus, they were debuting Nia Jax. Carmella was moving up. We have Alexa Bliss. We had Bayley. We had Asuka come in. I feel like it's better that they saved Ember for a little ways down the line because there was so much talent there. And I feel like this is a better time for her to get some spotlight because the only two people that are higher up than she is currently would be Bayley and Asuka.
Yeah.
And so having her go against Billie Kay was a good moment for her. It was an addition to the new influx of women we're getting on NXT.
And a fantastic finish to this match.
Yeah, which is apparently her finish, or was her finish on the Indies. The twisting stunner off the top rope is an amazing move. I wasn't sure what to expect when she jumped off the top rope.
And it's a move I think that takes so much accuracy on her part.
Yeah.
To know exactly where to go and how to position herself.
Well, and props to Billie Kay for knowing where to be, how to sell, and just making it look as effective as it probably would be.
Yeah.
A great win for Ember Moon. Great match for Billie Kay. I'm excited to see more from both of these ladies.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of debuts, we moved on to the glorious debut of one Bobby Roode taking on Andrade Cien Almas. I felt such an old school babyface versus heel feel from this match. I was definitely more impressed with Andrade this time around.
Oh, absolutely. This was, in my opinion, his strongest showing.
And it's weird because
since debuting.
Would you consider Bobby Roode a better wrestler than Ty Dillinger?
I don't know. Maybe better wrestler might not be the exact way I would describe it. Maybe more experienced. Or maybe better traveled.
Yeah, it's just weird that, like, you know, Ty Dillinger is great, but was able to outshine Andrade. Maybe that was his problem. Maybe he was trying too hard to look as good, if not better, than Andrade. Where Bobby Roode was like, no, this is, you know, I don't need to look good because I know I'm good. And maybe that allowed Andrade to really shine a bit more.
Yeah, and I think as far as people who've recently debuted, Almas has had, like, his build-up and his debut, basically, compared to a lot of other people, has come with, like, the least amount of fanfare and the least amount of hype behind it.
Yeah, they only had a couple of... They only had, like, 3 weeks of vignettes.
And it was the same thing. They didn't really put him over that much, like, while he was getting ready to debut. And on top of that, just not being as well known as, per se, Austin Aries or Bobby Roode coming into WWE. You know, not having the mainstream American exposure.
Yeah.
And I just, you know, maybe it could have just come down to plain old them just not having that great of chemistry.
Possibly.
But him and Roode tore it down.
Yeah, no, they had a fantastic... First off, Roode's glorious entrance, descending from the heavens, was pretty awesome. The whole crowd singing the theme song.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, him and Andrade from beginning to end, just, they had...
Doing all the theme songs. CFO Money, or whatever, is doing all the WWE theme songs nowadays.
Yeah.
Killing it with the NXT themes these days.
Yeah. No,
Aries is good. Nakamura's was great. Bobby Roode, no exception to the rule.
Bobby Roode's is glorious. Speaking of which, there was a glorious bomb earlier. Like, Ciampa and Gargano had made it to the arena, and they were doing a promo, and Bobby Roode walked behind them and just kind of gave them... There was no music playing, but he gave them the nod, and they nodded back, and then they walked away. But yeah, no, it was a great... It was a good standout match for Almas. I kind of hope they keep these two maybe running a couple more matches together. I think it would be good for Almas to really, you know, amp himself up a little bit more. And then Almas, at one point, like, they did a good job of making it seem like he was going to win because he had him perfectly set up for the Hammerlock DDT.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, his new finisher. So, you know, that setup is pretty blatant. Like, this is what's going to happen. But Bobby Roode was just so ready for that setup. He knew exactly how to get out of it. He knew exactly how to counter it. And then beat Almas with a move I didn't expect to be his finisher.
Yeah, that was the other thing. You know, maybe I wouldn't say a complaint, but just something I wouldn't expect out of Takeover.
Yeah. Is
that just a regular pump handle slam?
Yeah, which he calls the Glorious Bomb, which is good. But yeah, no, it seemed like there should have been something more. I'm not upset by it. I like. We're fans of simple moves ending matches. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I feel like if it's gonna be his finisher, or, you know, I could chalk it up just they had a big match and maybe he wasn't, you know, feeling super strong at this point.
Right.
But I feel like there should have at least been more oomph behind it.
Yeah. I hear you there.
But again, you know, and I feel like it's one of those moves that's not the greatest go-to move for a finisher, because other people have used this as a finisher that kind of, it gets lost.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't know, like, can you think of somebody who's used this specific version, not like up into the power slam?
For me, it's always the power. Like, the first person I always go to is Test.
Yeah.
Test always used the power slam.
See, it's one of the things that people don't know. That was Road Dogg's finishing move. Like regular pump handle slam.
The out forward, yeah. Really? Because I knew he did the pump handle. I guess I didn't remember that it was that it was out in front. Wasn't it called the doggy style or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him
So-
and I think Snitsky ended up using that one too
Oh.
during his bald, no hair, monster teeth phase.
Oh.
But it's like you don't remember it because it's not a memorable finishing move.
Yeah, no, yeah. For
because
me,
it doesn't
had he
have
gone
the
up,
impact.
had he gone up into the power slam, it probably would have looked a bit more effective, especially with how strong Bobby Roode looks.
Yeah.
It probably would have had a different effect to it, but.
Needless to say, the Glorious One picks up the victory in the debut, as is per usual for Takeover debuts.
Yes.
And just kind of leaving us excited to see more Mr. Bobby Roode.
Yeah. Then before we got to the other three matches, we had an interesting break-in of some very violent footage, some riotous footage, and the word sanity across the screen.
Yeah, at first, I kind of thought the way the footage looked is that it was going to be
A pay-per-view.
yeah, or just like a quick little spot for whatever the next takeover is going to be.
Yeah.
Maybe they were going to do
Yeah.
release date for, because I mean usually they don't release the next takeover information until a few weeks after the previous takeover. But I thought maybe they were going to just try and capitalize on it, and knowing that a lot of people were going to be specifically watching this takeover.
Oh, absolutely.
Probably for Nakamura versus Joe.
Yeah.
To maybe say, hey, let's already start hyping up the next takeover because we don't do that very often. So maybe do something a little out of the norm. But it seems like maybe it's a vignette for somebody.
Yeah,
Very, very vague, very nondescript, very. Who the fuck is this vignette?
I like when they do that. I like when it's very, what the fuck is happening? Who is this for? What does this mean?
I'm gonna try and guess who it is before they do the reveal, because I mean I was right when we were trying to guess who Ember Moon was.
That's true.
And I thought I was fairly certain it was gonna be Athena.
So we're gonna scour the NXT roster and see if we know who Sanity is all for. But moving on,
I'm thinking maybe. I don't want to be jumping out of my comfort zone here. But I think maybe an early guess is somebody that we've already seen before. Somebody who's already been on TV, somebody who's already on the NXT roster.
Who do you have in mind?
I'm thinking Biff Busick.
Oh, that would make sense.
His last promo a few weeks ago was talking about him having to go back to the beginning to be successful so maybe ditching the Oni Lorcan name.
We can only hope.
Going back to, I'm about to go scour the NXT roster again on Wikipedia while we're talking about the 3 title matches.
Yeah. Oh, you might want to wait because this is your match.
Oh, it's okay. I can
Right.
I can multitask this one for sure.
Okay. Right off the bat, match of the night.
Hands down.
No disrespect to anybody else, but these two tag teams. Oh my god! This was everything that they could have hoped for. This did so much not only for the show, but for both of these teams. As if either of these teams needed something more. The Revival proved why they are the first ever 2-time NXT Tag Team Champions.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna be honest. I don't think the Revival can have a bad tag team match.
No, I fully agree.
It's come to this point where I can't say that I felt that the Revival have ever not had a strong showing.
They've killed it with every team they've gone against.
Which is why they're in the position they're in, which is why they are the tag team champions, and it just, they're so good. Their style is so simple in the way they do things that it doesn't clash with any other style.
No,
It's not so offense forward that it takes away from other people. It's not high flying, so it in that way that it's not confusing for other people. It's not so classically formula based where it's become super predictable. It's so simple and old school that it works against and with every other style.
It fits their needs.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if they're going against the technical heavy American Alpha or the unorthodox / power of Enzo and Cass. It doesn't matter. They can literally adapt to any style they want, and it works every single time. And then you flip to the other side of the coin where you have probably one of the most hyped tag teams on NXT right now in Ciampa and Gargano.
Yeah.
Two singles guys coming together to make just an amazing tag team and have worked their way up through the NXT roster at, I would say, a perfect pace. I don't feel like they were thrust into anything. They had a good showing last year, the Dusty Classic, but didn't win it.
Yeah,
and then
I think it was the best way to start them.
They've built themselves so well, and coming off the heels of the match they had a couple weeks ago on the CWC, everyone is just extra amped to watch Ciampa and Gargano in an NXT ring.
Yeah, I think the best thing about their build-up towards the NXT tag title match is that they weren't NXT guys.
No.
It's especially when they first came out, being sort of surprise entrants in the Dusty Classic and beating Tyler Breeze and Bull Dempsey. And then, they didn't win the next round because I think it was Baron Corbin and Rhino.
Yeah, Baron Corbin and Rhino.
But we only saw them very sporadically after that.
Yeah.
Once every 2 months or something, until they really started picking up momentum. Because then, not long after that, they tried to give them singles runs, and neither of them really picked up much momentum. I think Tommaso Ciampa won most of his matches.
Well, his one singles match with Samoa Joe is probably the most talked about.
Yeah, but neither of them really picked up a lot of momentum as a singles competitor. So they put them back as a tag team, and the crowd just eats it up.
Yeah, and they work so well off of each other. They have a similar yet different style, which is very both of them are very quick. But Ciampa has a little bit more of the power game, so they're able to complement each other really well. And just, this match was just magic. The Revival playing the most old school, dirty heels that they possibly could. There was just, one of the things that I was posting on the Facebook while the show was going on, and I was just the Revival are nasty. They know how to get that old school heat. They shut the babyface down in the most vicious way possible, and it was the same beat through the entire match. It never faltered, which just added to the excitement that this match reached towards the end.
Yeah.
Because on multiple occasions, it seemed like either team was going to win.
Yeah, these guys did a whole lot of great false finishes.
A lot of them.
That seemed so perfectly timed. The one that I really appreciated was when Ciampa was able to lock in
the armbar,
his float over armbar that he does.
Yeah.
Right after he threw Dash out of the ring and got it on Dawson, and then Dash tries to slide in the ring and Gargano
Johnny
pulls
grabs
him
him
out. But then they were able to have it so Dash would turn it around, knock Gargano over, get back in the ring, and be able to break it up.
Yeah.
Was really good. Or the fact that they hit their double team finish, the running knee and super kick combo, and that still didn't cinch them the victory.
Yeah. On top of and even for the Revival, there was at one point where it was all this running around, and eventually it was them trying to set up for the Shatter Machine, and they just couldn't get it. And I think they were trying to do it on Gargano, and Ciampa ended up taking out Dash so only half of the move happened, and then they like rolled him up into a pin, and it was just so much was happening, and the crowd was just at a fever pitch at this point. They are losing their minds, and then with the second attempt at the running knee super kick combo, Dawson pulls Ciampa out of the ring, slams his head into the post, and at the same time, Dash hits a nasty chop block on Gargano. And I thought that looked so painful. Gargano sold it with so much, just so much emotion, and just the look on his face. And then it was just the complete breakdown of that knee. We saw the double team knee breaker that they've been using. They've used on multiple teams, which I don't think they've used in a while. I think the last time they used it was against American Alpha. And so to see them pull that back, I didn't expect it. And then to watch it happen and know that Ciampa wasn't able to help Gargano in any way.
Yeah.
You felt that all of a sudden oh no. You were so excited, they were so close.
They post Ciampa on the outside.
Yeah. As they were going for the super kick running knee, Dawson pulled Ciampa out and slammed him into the post, and Gargano was by himself for the rest of the match at this point.
Yeah. The one thing that sold this finish for me was actually Corey Graves' commentary.
Corey is such a good commentator.
And he helps the storytelling move along so well. I think it has to do with the fact that, he was a wrestler.
Yeah.
So it really helps.
He has a lot of insight.
But, the phrase, and it sticks with me, because, I watched this last night, and it was, for me, 3 in the morning, and I was drunk. So the fact that it sticks with me that, one line of the commentary stuck out in my head is when they hit the chop block on Gargano, Corey Graves shouts, Gargano's knee just exploded.
Oh.
That I was just that just really sold it, because there really wasn't a lot of anything happening to Gargano's knee during the match.
Yeah, no, it was that one moment that really turned it around.
So they did it well enough to just sell the fact that that one chop block was just enough to really turn everything around in that split moment.
Yeah.
So I give Corey Graves a lot of props for helping that one out.
Yeah. And then Dash, albeit a little close to the ropes, as you pointed out. I was so caught up in the moment that I didn't realize how close they were, but Dash cinching in the knee bar, and the immediate look of pain, and I have to get myself out of this moment for Johnny Gargano, tapping out the Revival, retaining the NXT Tag Team titles. They told an amazing story, and this just proves that now that Johnny and Ciampa are about to become just full-fledged NXT-only guys.
Yeah, because, they only have a handful of indie dates.
Ciampa is done with indie dates at the end of September.
Yeah, so is Gargano.
Is he?
Yeah, because Gargano's got King of Trios, and then I'm pretty sure the next Evolve Mat show, and then the next AIW show, and that's it.
And I think Ciampa's last one is PWG, or no, not PWG, AAW against Pentagon Jr.
Yeah.
Or at least that's one of his last ones. So yeah, there's only a few dates left where you can see Ciampa and Gargano on the Indies, and then they're going to be strictly NXT guys, and they absolutely deserve to be there.
Mm-hmm.
If not for anything, this match alone. Moving on to the NXT Women's Champion.
Got to celebrate the victory here.
Oh yeah.
I like Gargano and Ciampa a lot.
I know you do.
But the winners and still NXT Tag Team Champions are my boys, the Revival.
Oh God.
Damn, I've been waiting to take that off. It's so hot in here.